Okay, great. We're live now. Hey, aloha, friends. Thanks for tuning in to our Thursday Awakeness Hangout, where we practice group consciousness together in a, well, some would say it's different, but once you settle in, it seems like you've been here forever, and many call it home. We call it nothing. We call it the void. We don't really name that which is nameless. We just love to settle in and tune in and experience our shared sensitivity together. So, yeah, here we are. And let's get going. I want to pass the mic over to Sperry. Sperry, go ahead.
You want to send, I guess Carlo did receive a link that he can get back in with, right? Okay. So, yeah, I have a feeling to ask us to, if we're interested in exploring the distinction, the experiential discernment of the I am presence. Ken Wilber said there's only one I am presence in the universe or something. We're all tapping into it. So it's totally transpersonal. Though there seems to me to be also that this sense of being is it's like looking out by way of metaphor. We're looking out into this indivisibility of the formlessness, which is neither this or that, you or me at that level, and yet takes form as everything and everyone. So there's this sense of that which is beyond the self or beyond the I am that Nisargadatta and many have talked about, and I find it's very essential to remain sensitive to that which is immeasurable, so that this I am presence that gives me the experience of unity with all that is has a sense of that which is prior to or pre-existent to form, and by being immeasurable and indefinable and empty of thought completely, or any kind of division, my I am presence is made whole, and I feel whole in this holy, sacred unity with everyone and everything. So I know that some people feel very content to just feel like, well, I am, and that's it. I am awareness, and there seems to be a certain tension still to that. And when it comes to us as a collective, and we sense our unity, there seems to be a difference when we sense it as if there is really, we are all one, and then we also sense this this formless quality that is, it's almost like existence sensing what is non-existent and cannot be created or destroyed, that which is changeless. And some say you can't experience that which is truly void without ceasing to exist, and I don't feel that's true. And I wonder what you all find, if this makes any sense to you all. Seems like a very valuable topic and focus of experience for us. As we move into a commonly sensed reality, in order to be fully united, we need to sense what is truly indivisible together. And that's why being aware of awakeness, being aware of who's looking and what's underneath that is really what I'm asking about. What's underneath who or what is looking? What causes the looking to happen as us? That's the question. Would you all like to explore that?
Frankie, you're on. I think your mic's been hot and been on the whole time, so let's remember to mute our mics. But Frankie, you're on. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. What has been interesting in this experience has been precisely what I wasn't taught so many years. It was like having to be less than what I was. Get rid of the ego, get rid of the emotions, die to yourself. You cannot experience indivisibility with your body or with your reality now as a human being on planet Earth. You have to be exempt of all of these things. And my experience has been exactly the opposite. It has been a sum of all the parts of what I am. Instead of having to get rid of or having to criticize or have judgment about this being right or wrong, this being good or bad, it has incorporated all that I am, even as a bodily form, as an emotional body, as living in this place that I call reality, with all the situations and the events that come up. I've been able to integrate that into the part of being this I am, because it's not getting rid of anything, it's incorporating it, it's allowing, it's being non-judgmental, it's not having to divide anything, it's not having to fix anything or to control. And that has been the wonder of it all and what keeps me going here, because it's really like very lightening. It's very the way I think it should be and the way I feel it is now is that I am all that is, and all that is what is. Thank you. I pass the mic.
I get speechless, and I love hearing us talking about it. And I can see as well the not having to say anything. So I love hearing the words coming from us all. And I hear as well the non-words that I'm wondering if I get into confusion, or perhaps even it's not worth mentioning that word, because what does that mean? So I get a bit caught in how to talk, what to say. And I expect it's a preference of remaining silent and be here and not feeling the need to add anything to what is said, and enjoying the being here and hearing what we all have to say, or even not to say. So it will be a kind of hearing with the ears, but as well hearing with something else that doesn't hear sound, but that hears something that is just there, that I think we're all hearing it now. Thank you.
Well, Sperry, that's a pretty phenomenal question. So I'll restate it so Carlo hears it as well, and for our viewers, because we have some viewers popping on as well. So if I get this right, it's not only all the form, but who's watching and who's listening and who's experiencing, and then a level beyond, the one or my one that is hearing and seeing and sensing. Is that right?
You want me to answer that? Well, I was saying that, Ken Wilber talks about there's only one I am presence. And so all we can do is notice, what's noticeable to us. And it seems that the longer we spend really carefully and sensitively noticing what we can notice, that we certainly notice the noticing, and we can sense that it has an impersonal, a transpersonal quality, as well as a deeply personal quality. As you said, Frankie, everything is summed together by how well we pay attention to who and what we are. Allowing and accepting and receiving everything as is. Beautifully said. So then there seems to be something which is even prior to the I am presence. Some call it the void, and some say that if you can't really experience the void because there's nothing to experience. And that if we really were to completely be the void, we would cease to exist. Though there is this sense that I have of being this unity, this I am presence that is sensing the origins in this indivisible, formless source origin, which is immeasurable and completely and utterly empty and formless, and that I sense how it unites all of space, time, energy, and matter, mind, and body, and creates this sense of the I am presence. So I'm keenly aware of the value of noticing, yet this one more thing that may seem so threatening to many people, to notice non-existence, our non-existence, the absence of everything, to be nobody, to be nothing, going nowhere. And in allowing ourselves to notice that, I find, as I just said, that there is this, I feel more brought together as a single whole and complete, and I feel unneedy. And when I experience that with someone else or with other people, as we do here in the group, there's a feeling of our collective self, our I am presence, and the fact that we are sensitive to that which is beyond us, which is primordial and can't be created or destroyed, a void which is indivisible, that timelessly, without effort, without need of energy, is uniting all energy and all things as one and indivisible. So I was hoping that we could experientially look to what we can notice. It's not about what we say and how cool it is, what ideas or things that we can come up with here to label the reality with. It's rather that this is an exercise in noticing and being able to speak while noticing, because ordinarily in meditation we sit in silence and stillness. And to take the next step out of traditional meditation into, let's say, this more contemporary form of social meditation, where we can be awake as one. And to do that, we need to be able to use our verbal, analytic, conceptual, languaging part of us that is normally so disconnected from our heartfelt experience and our soulful spiritual essence, that in this exercise we speak, if only to get the exercise of being able to speak as well and experience at the same time and moment, so that these two parts of our neurophysiological psychology can learn to coexist co-consciously with each other, rather than divide from each other, or one dominates and then the other takes charge at another time, and then there's a trade-offs. Often people say, I can't experience or feel while I'm thinking and analyzing, and so we can be very divided against ourselves even. And so by exercising our ability to be awake indivisibly, not only individually but indivisibly together, I find, can cultivate the capacity to share a commonly sensed intelligence and be awake as that which pre-exists us and has been our source and origin, and is uniting us even right now as we sit here together, spread out thousands of miles apart. So that's my very long-winded explanation of that, so that who would like to speak and exercise next? Thanks.
Carlo, any chance you could take a first swing at that, buddy? I think you could do it.
I would like us to notice our thoughts that take us away from the moment, the present. Thoughts that are related to what we are occupied with in our daily lives, our convictions, our emotions, concrete things that keep us occupied, that pull our attention, call our attention. And there is this part in us that I am presence that notices things, that focuses on form, things that we see, that call our attention, that makes thoughts appear, feelings. That I am presence that scans from one particular object to the other, not being able to see all of reality, all of experience as a whole. And there is this aspect in us which is the whole, which notices everything at the same time. For instance, if we transport ourselves to a park, sitting in a park, sitting on a bench and looking around us, and still thinking about things that occupy us, our daily lives. And suddenly a duck starts quacking and calls our attention, and we focus on it. And there is a child in another direction, and our attention goes from the duck to the child, which is playing. That I am presence that is continually pulled in different directions and scans. But I can also close my eyes and let all those impressions that I feel and sense around me in the park, and notice those sirens that I hear in the distance, and a harbor on the other side, and children near, and the ducks, and the rumble and bustle of everyday life, all at the same time, while sensing and feeling my own body. Just being, seeing, perceiving from different perspectives all at the same time, without dividing myself, without referring to myself as I am, without referring to myself as I'm bad or good, I'm afraid, I'm happy. And just feeling, sensing, noticing. Being. Is very much related to what Carrie was just expressing just now. So I could very much relate to what she was saying. I'd like to pass the mic.
So I'm wondering if there is something even beyond being, just being with, and I don't know if it's the not being or the Atman of non-existence, the summation and being with as far as my field can go out. Maybe the continuum of both simultaneously. or maybe just the continuum of being, of the passing of the forms. I know in film theory it's real popular to have something startling happens, like every minute, to have something that jogs our attention, and to create something either that we don't want or that we do want to show up on film. You know, so having a scene that represents what we'd fear would happen, and then a scene that would lead us to, oh, I hope that happens, and to play it between those. And that maybe, so I'm going back to what's beyond the experiencer. You know, I'm hearing my voice and seeing of my sights here, and who's seeing and hearing and experiencing, and then who or what's beyond. It is the summation of the me seeing and hearing and experiencing, or my witness as well as all form? Is it the summation of it? Is the void of it? Or is it this fractal continuous flow that is perpetually biofeedbacking? Or is it nothing? Just no image, no sound? Is it all of it and none of it? Is it bigger and bigger loops of everything and nothing? This one senses, yes, like bigger and bigger, like nested of everything and nothing. Oh, and then I sense this dynamic of becoming acutely a sensitive. So if I lost this body, or I was able to transform my body into light, I would actually have, kind of as we practice shared sensitivity together, that as I lost this form, or dematerialized my form, that I actually would have greater sensitivities in an even expanded realm. So I don't know if that's shorter waveforms or tuning into longer waveforms, going into more of the space. That's something that I think about, meaning that I'm just at the crux of realizing and accepting eternity. Or as we've said before, nobody going nowhere forever. And for me to accept a shared sensitivity forever is also a major a major avoidance to some degree. Do I have the capacity to be able to accept, to feel into all of life, and to be acutely sensitive and yeah, just barely. I enjoy our shared sensitivity, and I'm wondering if that dial continues to get greater and greater, then such is a demand and a desire for peace. And I think when that shows up is to also feel into the no thought, the no image, the no feeling, the no sound. There's a sensitivity there's also in the stillness and maintaining stillness. Fluffy is sharing as well. Okay, I'll pass the mic. Thank you.
The image that comes to me when I want to get in touch with everything that is the image of a baby who is a nobody and yet is there, is going nowhere, and yet is there and doesn't have a sense of a separate being because it doesn't even know in the conceptual world who he or she is. And yet it exists. And everything around, and all the perception, and the mystery, and all that is in there. What is missing is the identity, the conditioned interpretation. The name, the position, whatever. And was that experience of us without a set identity that has been acquired by conditioning. It is what it is. So just to share that the image of a baby, and naturally as well, walking or moving or smiling, or that I expect naturally being beyond identity, beyond conceptual identity. Beyond a separate identity, which is a mental identity, which is a film in the mind. And just leave it there. Thank you.
When I start to experience here now, where I am, and I decide to go into the void. My first experience is, do I zoom in or do I zoom out? If I zoom in, I have the same experience as if I zoom out. It's like the void exists all the time, everywhere. There is no difference. If I And what I seem to feel is that I switch to a hyper way of sensing, that it's all there all the time, but the focus and the range of capacities, they're not capacities, they're just available. I need to like change frequencies to really get into what is there beyond what I usually sense with these senses every day. And it's like it all coexists in a frame that is timeless and it is seamless. And everything is there all the time. And it just depends on what I focus on and the frequencies or the whatever that I tune into to be able to experience any realm or any dimension or anything that I really put my intention on. So it's like, if I zoom in, it's there. If I zoom out, it's always there too. All I have to do, and right now, here, where I am now, it is all coexisting at the same time. And it all depends on where my intention and my focus goes. Because I am the one that needs to become multidimensional. Because it's all there, all inclusive. And I am the one that has to decide if I will allow or permit or am willing to experience what is. I pass the mic.
Yeah, thank you, Frankie. So let's say we're all sitting here together, but to use your illustration, Carlo, that say you're sitting there on the park bench and you're feeling everything all together as a witness, and 4 other people come down and sit next to you. And now the question is, let's say that all 5 people, yourself included, are willing to pay attention in some way that would allow all 5 of us to become co-conscious and awake as a single witness with 5 bodies. What is it that we all need to pay attention to together that would allow that transpersonal unity to happen effortlessly? Because it seems that it is about what do we notice together that makes the difference. Same way in my own body, heart, and mind as a human being, if I'm open to noticing everything and nothing, everything that there is and all that is not, without reservation, then I feel the most whole. And so what do the 5 of us need to do here, or what are the 5 of us doing, whatever the question is? How would you each answer this? How do I mean, we know what we do individually, but can we explore what we can do collectively here? How can we notice so that we are actually awake as one body, heart, and mind, and sharing a common witness? Okay. So I notice, given that question, that by being open to this void that you're speaking about, Frankie, that to notice that it doesn't matter what I focus on, that if I'm willing to notice the void, it's always there. It doesn't require any effort for the void to be here. Though it seems in our groups that when we are open to noticing that which is the absence of everything, and we notice that together, very sensitively, our noticing presents to us a feeling of communion, a feeling of sharing a cellular, biological body, heart, and mind as human beings, as if we were a single organism or something. And then a lot of things happen with that. It's a very, very rich experience. And certainly our I am presence is drawn as it is in various ways. Though while that's very interesting, I'm interested in if we could explore here, how do you all find what it takes to be awake as one body, heart, and mind? Thank you. Who would like to speak next?
This down. Right now, well, I was able to hear while we were speaking here the beating of my heart. And now I can't. Hey, what's going on here? Anyway, I can hear my voice, and I can hear this voice, and but for instance, that beating of the heart, it seems to be a rhythm that is a universal rhythm, where it's nothing to do with me. It's just the beating of the heart. So to connect what would it's saying, bring me that sense of connection, or because I know it's there, that what would help me experience it firsthand would be paying attention to what's here. That can be the traffic, the background, my clock, my friendly clock ticking here day and night. And I know, no, you cannot hear it, but still it looks like it's in the universe, that vibration. So in a way, it doesn't need to be here physically because it's vibrating here, and it's part of more subtle vibration that exists in reality, exists here, now, whether it can be perceived with the physical ears or not. Allowing space, or be aware of all the space around me, around us, even around the countries that we are all, the air that unites us, or that vast kind of space that contains it all. And yet, I think, yes, there is another awareness that is aware of the space, of the I expect if 5 of us are here together, is the stillness that unites us. And the stillness harmonizes my body, my mind, our bodies, our minds, our words. So that stillness, which is common to the 5 of us, to our viewers, and really to the whole world, harmonizes us. Although we are anyway, what I mean, if we are not doing this, still there will be a harmony and there will be a togetherness of us and everybody else, the viewers, everybody. That's the fact. Nobody can change it. Whether we are open and allow ourselves to experience that expansion by allowing the being still, then we can be aware of it together and enjoy it together in a kind of fiesta type of feeling, because it's very rich, very creative. Yeah, so being still with kind of this loves there to discover. Thank you.
I would like us to to sense and feel the thoughts, the feelings, that we feel we are. And from there, focus on the void, on unity consciousness, on ever-presence. Is there a difference between focusing on unity consciousness and becoming whole? What if we are whole? And stand in that wholeness, that emptiness, material emptiness. Yet not empty at all. If we stand and see whole, see all at the same time, without interpretation, just noticing, near or far, everything at the same time, noticing the speech, thoughts, within that whole, seeing that which narrows awareness down to a particular part. Being that wholeness, being empty and full. Carrying duality from that wholeness, that oneness. And seeing how duality pulls attention towards objective perception, towards objectivity. Dividing yourself and becoming the perceiver. Yet noticing everything at the same time. Narrowing down awareness. Yet being everything, all at the same time. While doing, I keep on identifying with doing, with focusing. if I let go of identification with doing, with focusing, with objectifying, realizing that I am the void, that we are the void. There is no we and I. No division. No left or right, up or down. There is no doing and undoing. There is no silence and sound. There is no being and non-being. Who would like to speak next?
So two things are up for me. One is a really good John Lennon quote that a dream you dream alone is only a dream you dream together is reality. And I think we're living into it. First, by having this practice of group consciousness, is tapping us into a shared reality, shared sensitivity. And I think it's very important for us to go to a shared sensitivity of a no dream. So rather than having pinballs bouncing around because it's still, I think, the remnants of separate consciousness and the illusion of separate consciousness can kind of enter into our shared experience. So it's really embracing our void, our formless. That self-organizes our shared dream. So to some degree we drop all of that, we tune into our collective dream, and then each of our dreams are enhanced into our shared dream, which then hopefully becomes our shared reality, which reminds me of another quote that spirituality without manifestation is just hallucination. So there's a dynamic where it's important for us to fully manifest into this 3D reality what our shared dream is, so that we have an elation and an emotional resolution of bearing fruit to what we desire, even if from a space of no desire, of a shared sensitivity of what's good for and what's the greatest experience for and what's our highest choice for all of us. And today has been particularly troubling. This is a difficult question to access what's beyond the one who is experiencing reality, seeing and hearing. So there's all these forms, and there's the one who's the subjective, is seeing and hearing, and then there's a beyond. So tapping into this beyond, I do really get the formless, the void base, the stillness of the no image, the no sound, as an aspect of being beyond. I get that. I get how it organizes all of us. Another way to point to it is I'm reminded of being seen. So one of the parts of this shared sensitivity is to be deeply felt and deeply seen. So if I'm seeing deeply, it's this mirror-like quality we talk about as well, is to also be deeply seen. So it's the one who's seeing and hearing, and also the one who's being seen and heard. Right now, this is very strengthening for, because I think I was slipping into like non-existence and going down there, and it was quite existential angst. And to be okay with that too. You know, the flip side here is giving, and maybe it's dualistic, it's also giving me some balance here, which is the one who's being seen and the one who's being heard and the one who's being experienced. So as a wonderful compliment. So, all right, pass the mic. Thank you.
The lights have gone out here. Electricity's off. There's a storm outside, but I think there's still enough light coming through the window that you can see me. Okay, good. Thank you. When I experience this shared unity in this beautiful community of people who are willing to experience it with me, I think that's the first thing that I need, is some like-minded people to come around and offer the opportunity to live this beautiful experience. I find that more than being analysis, more than being rational, it's like first, like you say, Brian, feeling at home, getting comfortable, and knowing that I'm safe, and even though I don't know you all personally, I feel that we are one, and that it works kind of like at a heart level. I guess I use my mind and my body more than I use my heart, and I notice the difference here, because my heart begins to open. As Anna says, I feel it beating. I feel that it's really real. It's an echo of all the universal pulses, and I get into that flow, and it's hard to describe, but it's like dissolving, like letting go, and experiencing all of us as one, as we always are. But at this moment, I am able to sense it. I'm able to enjoy it. I'm able to feel the product of being with my oneness. And to me, it's so lovely. And it's like our souls are longing for this experience, and we go through life like wanting to do this, because I feel like I am exponentially magnified, and I enjoy being part of you all. And thank you for this beautiful experience. I pass the mic.
I feel put myself on the screen. I feel tears of joy listening to you, Frankie, and to all of you, there is this, in this human heart and soul, a longing to share this profound depth of our being, our life, our existence together. And here we are, I experience us here noticing together, and that we're pointing our capacity for noticing deeply, to be deeply seeing and deeply seen together, to sense the stillness, the void underlying all form. It allows, I'm experiencing that it allows this human heart and body and mind to fully integrate with what has created it. That there is an integrity feels that can only be satisfied by coming to this quality of consciousness where we collectively recognize our unity in a fully embodied way, sensorially, emotionally, mentally, intuitively, soulfully, as one singular spirit. That word spirit being a word that points to this wholeness, this Holy Spirit, with a W or with an H, both. That in being willing to focus together and notice together, and being, by just noticing what we can notice together, and what way of being in focus together allows us to remain in focus here, is of great interest to this part in us, I would say, that longs for this. And so the I am presence, the observer, I find, is not just drawn to the quacking duck or the crying child, but it's drawn by this longing to find and discover and share this commonly sensed reality, this dream-like reality that, as John Lennon said, is ours to share so peacefully and so beautifully, so nourishing and so renewing. I feel renewed every moment right now in a way that, with all of you, it's like we're rediscovering what we are. There's an absence of monotony at the level of form. We are fresh and new each moment together, consciously, co-consciously, as a single indivisible form of consciousness, objectless consciousness, that, yes, can objectify things and distinguish this from that, and be active in this way and not that, or active together as a single activity that doesn't want to be divided, that feels the most safe, the most secure, the most rewarding and benefited by simply being awake sensitively together in this way. So much love, so much joy, so much subtle serenity and beauty. Thank you. Thanks to all of you, and thanks that we can get here together. It's really so grateful, so very grateful. Who would like to speak next?
So we're into our last 45 minutes here. I remember Anna needs to leave in about 15 minutes. So Anna, it'd probably be good for you to share, and maybe it'd also be good for us. Typically in the second half an hour we also go into what are we sensing as one, body, heart, and mind here together. So I'll go for a bit. I'm sensing our deep expansion and our deep love of loving and being loved as one, and seeing and being seen, hearing and being heard, feeling and being felt. And our tingly delight of how we really love to be in shared sensitivity with others. That we feel into an enhanced way of being together and in our world and in our life experience. That there is this gratitude, a very pervasive gratitude of feeling a relief. I get the renewed each moment of like, yeah, we're doing it, you know, like and I also feel into our objectless awareness, free of any one thing to focus on. It's objectless. We're just really in our shared sensitivity, and it's experiencing. I'm sensing our shared beauty. It's as if beauty is reveling in beauty itself. And again, this mirror-like quality of beauty into ever-expanding beauty, this fractal that from Planck's distance up to universal levels, and we're in the continuum of beauty. So well done, my friends. Well done here. I'll pass the mic. Anna? Oh, and if you could speak a little louder, Anna, it would really help. You can notice your green bar at the bottom of your small thumbnail. We'd like to see it go from the 50% up to the 100%, and being the 75% mark most of the time to the full would be great. Thanks.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me well? Yes? Okay. well, I think that there is a great sense of gratitude. I think that I can feel so much here now, a deep sense of gratitude, because this longing of any human being to be one with all is very deep, and when it's satisfied right here, right now, it's such a joy and such a peace just to be. So I'm really, really grateful that we come together here just to be with each other, to be ourselves, to be in the void, to be. And it's such a rest and a peace, this peace, just to be as we are. And this comes this longing of experiencing peace with the whole world and the fantasy of what if, I go there and everybody is like that. What if, this can be replicated everywhere? What if we all can have the experience of being whole and well and peaceful and one? And it's a very nice fantasy. It's a very nice thought. It's not fantasy because, anything is possible. But perhaps it's a longing again, the same as the longing to be with you is satisfied, because I can, we are here for each other and it's palpable. I expect there is a sense of expansion to the viewers, be one with them, to everybody. And I always remember the people who are now meditating, because there's so many people in the world right at this minute that are consciously aware of oneness. And somewhere in myself, I know we are one anyway. Sometimes I think, well, it doesn't matter whether it's even acknowledged or no. It is. But for the trouble, Anna, for the trouble, little identity, it is important to find something that doesn't need to be found because it's there anyway, and yet from that little being that human beings we can believe we are, the finding is important. I don't know if that makes sense, but here everything is allowed. That's what is good about it. That's what comes through me now. And it's here now. And it's well, that is here now for all of us to share. Thank you. Who'd like to go next?
I'm also noticing that which makes this sensing and feeling from this wholeness to make it sustainable, that which keeps us from being whole all the time. We are sensing and feeling together. I'm referring to pre-emotional responses that we can feel and sense within the body. I feel in the chest kind of a slight pressure and slight contraction in the throat and a sense of burning, which refer to sadness, fear, and sense of rejection, not opening the heart, not being able to open the heart fully. That it automatically shows itself, expresses itself, these pre-emotions, when we are in this void, feeling and sensing as one. I would like us to notice, recognize, as by recognizing these pre-emotions will release us. Just as anything that doesn't belong within our mind and body. Who would like to speak?
Experiencing the freedom as we are together and consciously united is so rewarding and so fulfilling and nourishing. These experiences are profound and heartwarming. And it's like being in plenitude. It's who we really are, and what is available at all times. And it's so peaceful. And it's harmonious. In all of those luscious words we look for as for states of achievement, and they just flow endlessly. And I enjoy coming here and experiencing this. It's like food, nourishment, and lets me get filled up and running over. It's so very nice to be here. Thank you so much. I pass the mic.
Well, as much as I, and it feels because I, as this human being, feel us being so loving and unified in our heart, body, and mind as a greater being that is sensitive to itself, conscious of itself, made up of 5 or more of us, that this tuning into this heightened level of sensitivity, there, as much as it is a nourishment and a relaxation and a joyful, loving kindness that I sense coming over all of us more and more as we notice sensitively together. There feels to be also the fact that we're ever more sensitive now in this way to all of life, all people, all creatures, all plants, all of form, the earth itself, the rocks and inanimate, supposedly inanimate, unconscious matter, which is clearly indivisible here. That there is a great challenge right now for our species to be ever more attentive together, and there is sorrow and sadness and fear about this challenge, I sense. At one level, at the level of the void, it feels as though there's confidence. Like it's all one. There's nothing to worry about. It's all fine. Everything's going to be just great as it is now, as it has been and always will be. And yet, at the human level, there is a sense of being stretched, being confronted by, well, okay, so how, perhaps not yet knowing how to adequately and successfully offer this pathos, this telepathic intelligence to our global community of creatures and plants and animals and human beings. You know, how this is, it feels like this group and what we're exercising and practicing and becoming ever more familiar with is a stepping stone for us individually and as a group. At the other extreme of the void-based conscious confidence, there is this, it feels necessary to admit and include this part of us that feels afraid of being insufficient to the task at hand of communicating this communion. Given all the means that we have as at our stage in evolution. And maybe that's due, maybe these feelings are due to the fact that, we're in this present moment, and the resolution of this divisiveness in our species and all the conflict and pain and suffering and confusion and longing, powerful longing that 7 billion people are feeling and many plants and animals are feeling right now. That we're not paying attention sufficiently together to glimpse a resolution, a shared vision, and that is, we're necessarily confronted with this at a human level, with our inability to completely and satisfactorily envision the resolution of our of this divisiveness that still has a hold on our greater body, heart, and mind as an organism, as a species, as a single being, that we have the capacity to be awake as together here on this planet with other planetary civilizations in this universe, and to be able to commune even without words through the quality of our shared openness and willingness to notice together beyond our present limits that are self-imposed because what we're familiar with is just based on what we have done so far, and since we have not established a global telepathic society as yet, to some extent we need to feel some sadness and some fear and some overwhelm, and through welcoming that and accepting it and allowing it, we are informed and by consciousness, by our consciousness, and we're shown how to resolve these tensions. So that's what I'm sensing with all of you. Thank you. Who would like to speak next?
Sparrow, that's so right on the button. Just really good, because some of the notes, what's been coming through, and it even started earlier, and then I remembered it, was this idea of divine pride and divine humility. So this, what may be beyond, is really getting, like, when we all dream together as one, we can, this is reality, right? Like, we affect reality. Therefore, kind of one of the common shares is people, when we get into unity consciousness, is the self-organizing of all of our cells. And of course, the self-organizing of all cells is going to fractal through each of our levels as we get this greater human telepathy, right? Telepathic shared sensitivity and presence. So this idea of divine pride and divine humility is exactly what I'm feeling, and I'm sensing we're all here feeling as well. The humility of the separate consciousness of, wow, you know, I had been separate consciousness for so long. Probably more the teen years, you know, like not the child years, in divine wonderment and play. There's this separation, and then now this return, this glorious triumphant return of, to really fully and enthusiastically empower our divine pride of unity consciousness, that we can do all things in as one body, heart, and mind, and how fast, you know, the pain and suffering and can be healed. So I also, okay, there's a part of me that would rather avoid admitting how painful and how much suffering had been And I get it, yeah. There's a tremendous reservoir of energy and the shared sensitivity. There's an access to feel also as one body, heart, and mind, the pain of failing to honor our intuitive abilities, to honor truth and beauty and goodness, and failing to honor our shared telepathy and our shared sensitivity. That being said, I feel that there's also an empowerment of getting and tapping into some degree of divine pride of all things can be done, the world can be made anew in unity consciousness of one body, heart, and mind here. So just to chime in of shared sensitivity and shared, different words, but very, very, very similar. So the divine pride then leads into play your part. Because when we do tap into the stillness and the silence, for me it becomes like an immediate resource to reconnect to source of purpose and to play one's part. And yeah, it can seem tremendously daunting, and insecurities can come flying up and lots of stuff. And I sense we'll have this shared fire of enthusiasm to shift from the fear of, like, oh my God, I've got to do that, to, oh my God, I get to do that. How exciting. And to turn the fear into excitement, or the anxiousness, just to see it a little bit differently, and all things are going to self-organize, that we get to do this. And let's play our part. Let's play our part. And here's the cool thing, we play authentically. That's what makes a great actor, is that we authentically play our role. So that's what's really cool. And I know we're sourced, by the formless void, rather than other energies that tax and feed on forms and are cannibalizing other forms. We're sourcing from formless and form, which is super awesome. All right, thanks for sharing that. Who'd like to go next?
It occurs to me that as we come to this water hole and we tap into the reservoir and we feel all that is there for all of us, that not only we five, but we could expand this to all of creation. And not only the people who are joining us watching this video, but all people, all creatures, all of creation that could benefit from this and was willing to accept it. We can kind of let it flow out, and may it be a benefit to all who are welcome to receive it. Just as we go from being here together and go out and personally meeting people and being present, the radiance of the effect of this experience also illuminates them. It makes them feel better. And we can do it now as a group. We can do it always as we know how to we have the map. We know how to get here. And we support each other. And we come and drink all we want to. And we come in and get back to ourselves. Surely we can share this with all. Thank you so much. I pass the mic.
I would like to share that I'm all for giving forward this shared sensitivity, facilitating shared sensitivity in groups and with individuals, being sensitive with others at all times, noticing that which keeps us from being whole. For that which keeps us from being whole to release us just by recognizing. Being able to love unconditionally, to give forward unconditionally, to induce that presence that we feel, that we are. And I'm grateful that today I can be here with you sharing this commonly sensed witness. Being the love that we feel. Lovingly sensing, feeling, recognizing. At the same time, just noticing without interpretation. Noticing all that is, all of experience, without experience. Bringing this presence into our physical, mental being, emotional being. Being able to give forward this presence, in presence. I feel grateful for all that we are. Thank you to us. Who would like to speak?
I know I said I was going at 5 here in England, but my ace partner is not on Skype. This means I can stay here, which is wonderful. As wonderful as you would be as well to have that conversation. So the same, I'm grateful. I don't know what to say. You know it all. You know how I feel. We know how we feel. We feel very good. And we like it. And we want more of this. And we will have more. That's why we have, lots of these encounters, because we feel nurtured and naturally we want that. And we want that with everybody and with every sentient being. There is a meditation that you might have heard of or attended, the Radiant Heart, Global Radiant Heart, something like that. I attend it as much as I can. It's just a 15-minute meditation. And at the end, it always says something like in the, don't know exactly how it says, but in the experience of time and space, love is the only true or the only thing real. I don't know how it says, but certainly it just affirms that love is the only thing really. And because here we put that into practice, we let everything go and we just concentrate in what it is, the only thing that really is important, the only thing that ultimately, after generations come and go, always exists. It's ancient, it's new, is ever present, ever fresh, and all the things that can be said about it. And has been said in many poems and religions, and I think we have beautiful words all around the world for centuries that has been written about this joy, this simplicity, this beauty, this, and the privilege to be here together, to be able to once more, another group of human beings kind of connecting with that. We are not the only ones. How many people come together and they learn to meditate, or the longing for truth, or they just come together because they, how many people in the past, in the medieval times, in the, how many, the philosophers, how many people have sat, with others to look deeply, to how many. I think we feel connected with all of them, with all the past seekers and founders as well, and with all the future ones, because where there is a human being, there is this possibility of deep connection, conscious connection, and that longing is there, and it just unites all humanity, not only the ones alive on the planet now, but the ones who came before, Aristotle, the apostles, an Indian people perhaps sitting there looking at anyway, with all humanity really. So this sense of oneness is, it passes time, space. And it's a privilege to to share it here in this microcosmos, but which is a reflection of the macro cosmos, as I think we've in one or another way said it before. So thank you so much. So gratitude. What can we say? Thank you.
Well, we just have a few minutes left here in today's gathering. Now, maybe it would be helpful to mention the metta meditation of the Bodhisattva principle in Buddhism, which, not being a Buddhist myself, but knowing of that sentiment and dedication to return, as is said, return here until every blade of grass is free and enlightened and in touch with the source of happiness, and that it does feel necessary to be willing to grieve profoundly, even suffer death and the agonies of the human form, willingly and consciously, and if they haven't been suffered consciously, to return again and again to our mortal experience until we can accept it in all of its in the full spectrum of emotions and sensations, without being overly preferential or overly selective in what we choose. Because if we are, unless we are choiceless, as this witness together, not only alone but together as a people, it seems that we have so much more to learn about letting go and receiving what is as it is, in whatever form it may take, and to learn to not to be afraid, to trust and have faith that we can, that we really don't die and we cannot die, and that the agonies of the mortal form have a lot of information and wisdom to reveal to us about acceptance. So, would you like us all to, let's all open our mics and...
Yeah, let's do it. Another good one.
Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Let's do it again.
Love us so much. Thank you. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Love you all.
Love you. Love us.
Love
Aloha.
us. Yeah.
See you next time.